Good morning, my friends. This is Deepak. How are you? I am continuing my dialogue with you on the mystery of death. So far, no one has actually objected to this topic. I thought the topic might be a little morbid for a lot of people since no one likes to confront the reality of death, particularly their own death. And yet it is part of our existence. And to be in denial of this very important aspect of our existence is actually not to understand life at all. Birth, death, life are a process. And that process is this physical body, this mind, this brain, and this experience of the world. And I have now done about 6 videos already, and I'll continue to do more on how do we unravel this mystery of birth, death, life, existence. And as I've said many times before, I'm not the original commentator on these matters. Humans have explored this ever since they became explorers, ever since they became explorers of meaning, ever since they became explorers of themselves, ever since they became explorers of reality. So whatever I say is based on insights, intuitions, imagination, story, and experience throughout the ages, but particularly in the wisdom traditions. And mine is more influenced by Eastern wisdom traditions than by Western wisdom traditions. Although, of course, when you go deep into these traditions, you see that they're all kind of saying the same thing in different ways, different vocabulary. So today I want to actually go deeper, a little bit deeper than we've already gone, to address one very important point. And that one very important point is that most of us, not all of us, but most of us, particularly the scientists amongst us, take reality to be only physical, the experience of the physical world. Not only do most scientists and most people in general take reality only to be the physical world and the physical body, they also assume, and we don't know if there's any justification for this assumption, that physical reality is independent of our experience of it. And that's part of the philosophy of naive realism, which I have addressed before, naive realism. So I won't go into all the details of the philosophy of naive realism, but basically naive realism in one sentence is that the physical world and the physical body exist independently of experience. Now, that's a very big assumption. If they exist independently of experience, then how do you know they exist without experiencing them? How do you know there's a physical world without experiencing it? What scientists and people in general, even those who are fearing death, what they assume is that that's all there is, the physical world. And if something's in my mind, it's just in my mind. If something's in my imagination, it's just in my imagination. It has nothing to do with the real world. Okay? The real world is solid. objects, space-time, theater, biological organisms. So whatever we call reality is just the physical aspect of it, and totally independent from any experience of it. So, if I'm experiencing angels, ghosts, as well as divine beings, uh, aliens, uh, other life forms, then that's imagination. So that's not real. Okay, but this is real. The statues behind me are real. The bookshelf behind me is real. And of course, it's the exact opposite. Anything that you can see and perceive is not real. Actually, anything that you can even think and imagine, ultimately, it's not real. But they're all necessary to have experience. So every experience seems real when we are in it. Every experience seems real when we are embedded in it. So when you're embedded in the dream is real. Right now, you're what is called in the waking state. Okay? In fact, our entire philosophy of existence is based on the waking state. And what is the waking state? It is consciousness vibrating as perceptual activity, which means consciousness modeling itself as perceptual activity. And that perceptual activity is tied to mental activity. And without the two going together, there is no activity that we can call a physical body or a physical universe. But our entire philosophy of life, our entire science is based on the waking state of consciousness. The waking state of consciousness is one particular vibration, one particular frequency, domain, that expresses itself within a narrow bandwidth of experience, the five senses. And so the activity of five senses is the waking state, and that is what we call the world, the physical world. And all our science is based on that. And actually, our fear of death is based on that. The physical world will disappear, my body will disappear. It's part of the physical world. So that is the mistake of the intellect that we need to correct if we want to solve the mystery of experience. And solve the mystery, therefore, of existence. That reality is more than the physical world. The reality is more than the illusory physical world, which is a lucid dream in a vivid now. So tonight, before you go to sleep, think about what happened today, including this conversation. Before you go to sleep tonight, think about what happened today, including this conversation, and it will be a dream. In fact, think about this conversation after you shut off your computer. It will be a dream. Think of what I said 2 seconds ago. It's a dream. So what we call the physical world, Jagat Mithya, is a lucid dream in a vivid now, but we are embedded in it, so it is real. Just like last night, you were embedded in a dream, and while the dream lasted and you were embedded in it, it was real. Only on waking up did you say, oh, that was a dream. So what we're exploring now is waking up from this frequency domain of experience, the waking state, fluctuating as the five senses, giving us the experience of a physical body in the physical world. It's one dream of many. William Shakespeare said, we are such stuff that dreams are made of. We are such stuff that dreams are made of. So some people are saying, once again, I'm trying, but sound is not working. Sue Thompson says that, but many other people, the sound seems totally fine. So I don't know what to do. I'm wearing earpods connected directly to the computer, so my sound is going directly into the computer. Doing my best, my friends. Okay, so a dream is real when you're embedded in it. When you wake up from it, it's another dream. So right now, the experience you're having is a lucid dream in the vivid now. But when you wake up from it, it'll be another dream. In fact, we can wake up from it any moment. It's before your next thought, before your next perception, before your next emotion. All we experience, by the way, is cognition, which is emotions and sensations and perceptions and understanding given meaning. And ultimately, we experience only that which we believe in. The rest is edited out anyway. So, one of the things we need to do as we go beyond and transcend the fear of death is to get rid of the notion that only physical reality is real. In fact, it's the most unreal of all the others, which are equally unreal. They're all equally unreal, but they're all equally real when you're embedded in them. Once again, they're all equally real. This physical reality is unreal until you wake up from it. You don't know. You're embedded in it. So it's real, but it's fluctuating right now as a lucid dream. Every experience. Every experience. Who's dreaming then? What is dreaming? You say, I am dreaming. But I is not the body mind because the body mind is part of the dream. The body mind itself is part of the dream. Okay, so in one sense, death is waking up from that dream. But you can wake up from that dream any moment. Okay. 1/3 of our lives is spent in the waking state. So, dream state, are we having experience? Of course, we are having experience. It's just not physical experience. You have images and thoughts and feelings and desires and narratives and stories, trials and tribulations, and good and bad and sacred and profane and divine and diabolical, all in the dream state. A little kind of misty colored wisp of memory, as the song by Barbara Streisand is. Watercolor misty dreams. That's the character of every experience after it's over. 1/3 of our life is spent in the waking state, but that becomes our basis for reality, not what we were dreaming at night, because that was just a dream. Not our imagination, that was just an image. If I tell you, imagine the Empire State Building, you have an experience. Imagine the voice of John Lennon singing, imagine, you have an experience. Imagine the face of your mother, you have an experience. It's a real experience when you're having it. So imagination is as real as perceptual activity, this, or we might say as unreal. Unreal and real, in this case, unmanifest and manifest are complementarities. Actuality and possibility are complementarities. We're saying awareness and its modifications as experience of mind, body, and physical world are complementarities. Complementarities. One cannot occur without the other. The other cannot occur without the one. It's all entangled. Entangled as what? Qualia entangled. Entangled as experience. Now we live our lives as if we think we are in the physical world as a physical body, but most of the time, even when we are living our lives in the physical world with a physical body, we are daydreaming and we are unaware of it. And we're not even present for the experience we're having right this moment. And when we actually understand this moment, we realize it's not a moment in time. It's here now as presence in which the dream is occurring and weaving itself in the theater of space-time and causality. So in order to explore the journey of death, And I will explore this in great detail. All the lokas, if you want, all the dimensions of experience, if you want. If you don't, let me know and I won't. But I will explore if you want me to. But the one thing that we need to do before we explore this world, these different lokas are locations in dimensionality of consciousness. Loka, location. They're not locations strictly in space-time. They are frequency domains of consciousness that give different experiences of space-time. Like in the dream experience, the experience of space-time is very different from the waking state, the perceptual activity that we call now this waking state, this physical world. It's a different experience. So experience is different in different states of consciousness. In the dream state, it's completely different. There's no conscious experience, but your cells are having an experience, your organs are having an experience. They're regulating themselves depending on inputs and qualia experiences, and listening to messages from biomolecules, etc. They're having an experience. They're self-regulating themselves, and you're still in the dream state, so you're having the dream experience, not this experience, and experience is happening. May not be conscious experience, but it's happening in the dream state. And in the deep sleep state, actually, experience is even more profound as a creative experience. It's not a conscious experience, because in the deep sleep, there's the proliferation of uncertainty, the absence of conscious activity, and the correlation of improbabilities in the direction of creativity and high consciousness. In fact, deep sleep is a window to high consciousness. But these are only three states. What about soul consciousness? What about cosmic consciousness? What about divine consciousness? What are about unity consciousness? What the greatest wisdom traditions say, that all these states of consciousness create their own reality. Reality is different in different states of consciousness. Biology is different in different states of consciousness. Knowledge and knowing is different in different states of consciousness. And therefore, every reality is subject to revision. If you know the raw material that composes that reality. What is the raw material that composes that reality? Which is qualia. Qualia are qualities of awareness. So qualities of awareness can be something as simple as shape or color, or size, or form, or sound, or taste, or texture, or sensation, or imagination, or thought, or creativity, or evolution. Look at these qualities of awareness. They have no presence in the physical world. They're all non-local qualities. The matrix of these qualities and the interpretation of these qualities within a narrow band of perceptual activity creates the notion of a physical world in waking state of consciousness, and only in waking state of consciousness. So, if you want to solve the mystery of death, you have to decrease your allegiance to just the perceptual activity that we call the physical world, occurring in 1/3 of our lives. And then tap into 2/3 of reality that is available to you right now in dream state and ordered states and transcendental states and deep sleep states and infinite modes of knowing and experience available to you right now, before your next thought, before your next perception, before your next emotion, before your next image in your imagination. You are that being that is manifesting 1/3 of your life in the waking state, which you call the real world. In fact, it's the most far out dream that one can have. And one can get totally lost in that dream. And then all the fears come because the dream becomes a nightmare. The dream indicates fear. The dream indicates existential anxiety. The dream indicates possibly the fear of death. All of that, by the way, existed before. We just took it for granted. Just took it for granted. So, are we going to explore these lokas? Are we going to uh, explore these different realms of existence? A lot of people are saying that it's my Wi-Fi connection that is giving the bad signal. So I have to fix that. But a lot of people are actually saying that it's perfectly clear. So we'll see. Okay. I think therefore I should probably stop today because I want to explore this in detail and you have to listen to it in a way that you can experience it. Okay. And properly. So I'll conclude today with just a few bullet points. Number one, true freedom is the end of all illusion. In freedom, you will see all levels of reality as one. Evolution never ceases for the human consciousness, though it seems to be interrupted when we experience what we call or what we think we do. When illusions completely end through conscious experience of every subtle level, then we are in touch with primordial reality, knowing, pure consciousness, and pure self. Pure consciousness is Atma. It merges with Brahman, which manifests as Brahman, the physical universe. So that's all for today. I will continue with this um, and I will make sure that the reception is better next time. I'm going to try my best.